Hello and welcome back. Today I'm returning after a brief diversion into tape. I am returning to talking about records, and once again another one of these stunning Mobile Fidelity SoundLab Ultradisc one-step pressings. I've done quite a few of these before, and you'll be able to see previous reviews on this channel. So the subject of today's review is it's not actually the latest one. I've got a couple more recent ones than this, which I will review in the coming weeks. This was certainly went on sale in the UK 2 or 3 months ago now. And needless to say, I got one because Janis is a legendary performer, and this is an absolutely cracking classic album. Now, just to set the scene, as is with the case of many of these, this is an album I've had in my collection for many years, and this is my, as you can see, the cover's kind of quite worn. But this is a US original pressing, basically. So what we have here is, let me just check my notes. So this is Columbia KC30322. It's the Terre Haute press. You can see in the, we are side one, PAL 30322 -C, and then around here is a T2 in fact. So a very early pressing in, I don't know if you can see there, it's in near mint condition, to be honest, as frankly most of my records are, because I look after them. Cover's a bit worn, but that's some 40 odd, 71, 50 odd. Yeah, 50 odd years of being on a shelf and coming out and being played occasionally. Anyway, just wanted to set the scene. So I'm going to tell you about what I think of the Mobile Fidelity, but just so that you've got a reference, that is my reference, which is an original US first press Columbia. Okay, so just get rid of that for now. And then this is what you pays your money for and gets today. Absolutely beautiful box in a kind of a soft rubberized matte finish with embossed gold here and an embossed image, cover image. Absolutely beautiful. Limited edition run of 10,000. Mine is 4,090. And yeah, the Mobile Fidelity SoundLab Ultradisc one-step pressing. So let's see what you get in the box. So first of all, a nice piece of foam to pack it all, and then here we go. So first thing, a couple of really high quality photos. From according to the copyright there, from 71, so that would be, well, Janis unfortunately died in October 70, so that was just when they published these photos, obviously not when they took them. But there we are, 2 fabulous images of her on stage, and a very beautiful booklet. And I really do like these things. I mean, it's really high quality paper, and I mean that really floats my boat. There's some photographs of the original master there. Yeah, in fact that's the 16-track recording session tapes. So yeah, brilliant. Interestingly, they're used to, in 1986 they took a digital copy from this, and say this is the pre-mixed multi-track, so that would have been used presumably to do a digital remix. Anyway, I digress somewhat, but there we go, beautiful booklet. a reproduction of the cover artwork, front and back. Produced by Paul Rothschild, engineer Phil Macy, and this is Janis's last. Well, obviously it was obviously recorded before she died, and released posthumously in January in '71. She died in October '70, so some 3 months after her death. And the first album she did with the Full Tilt Boogie Band, which is Brad Campbell on bass, Clark Pearson on drums, Ken Pearson on organ, John Till on guitar, and Richard Bell on piano. And one of the tracks on here, Trust Me, is written by Bobby Womack, and he plays acoustic guitar on that. It's kind of interesting to note. And then here we have some information about the one-step process. Now, I've gone into quite a lot of detail this before on previous videos, but I will just run through again. So in a normal LP production, you take your source, your master tape, invariably, but not exclusively, of course, but invariably it is a master tape, and you produce a lacquer, which is cut on a lathe, and that's kind of like a positive record. You could play that. You would wear it out damn quickly, but you could play it. That's then plated, and you take a mould from that, which becomes the father, which is kind of a negative. You take a mould from that, which then makes the mother, which is a positive, the same as your LP, so you could play that again. You take a mould from that, which is the stamper, and then finally from that, you press your record. And what we do here, take the master, cut the lacquer, make a mould from that, which Mobile Fidelity call the convert. I mean, you could call it the father, the stamper, whatever you want to call it, really. It's doing the same job as either. Well, it's doing the same job as both, actually. And then you press your vinyl. So you can see you're missing out 2 stages of pressing, stroke moulding, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it. And as anyone would know, if you try and take a mould of something, you will lose the finest detail. And the fine detail inside an LP groove is so fine that you cut out 2 of these stages, you will hear the difference. That in itself makes a notable difference. And then on top of that, these are cut at 45 RPM, which improves the fidelity, and they are pressed onto something called, what do they call their vinyl? Can't remember what they call their vinyl, super vinyl or some such. Super vinyl, there we are. MOFI super vinyl, which is again really high quality vinyl. Now, what else do you get in the box? So here we are. Underneath there's a nice foam liner to the tray, and it's a really nice stout box and a stout tray. And then we have 2 LPs. Again, as I mentioned, this is cut at 45 RPM, so what was a single album on its original release becomes a double. And I'll only bother to open one of these for now, but I'll show you what you get in here, because the quality never ends. So this is, again, it's kind of a matte finish, beautiful, really high quality art board. And then inside that you get another folded piece of high quality card, and that just further protects the LP. And then finally, inside of that, you've got these really high quality, beautiful, quite frankly beautiful Mobile Fidelity original master sleeves. And then here we have the record. So here we are, side 1. Now side 1 on this, being 45 RPM, only has 2 tracks, Move Over and Cry Baby. You can see the size of the run out groove, I hope, there. So, you know, end of side distortion is gone, because you're not recording at the end of the side really, and it's just a remarkable pressing. It's beautifully pressed, and I don't know if you can see there, if you can see me through there, can you? It is actually, it's so pure, even though it's black, it is kind of transparent. It's like I it's like looking through a pair of sunglasses, frankly. It's just you know, it's a super quality record. Now, just let me tell you a bit about the listening of this. I've got some notes here. I don't really need them particularly, and I basically went through being literally track by track, the original versus this pressing. Now, starting off with Move Over, the opening track, I mean, you start off, you've got really nice ambience about the drums. The guitar comes in sort of with the vocal and the melody. On my original pressing, the impression you get is that the melody and the guitar kind of follow, sorry, the guitar and the vocal follow the melody and kind of drive the song. And in my system, and I've got a high quality LP system, playing back system, but in my system, on the original, just track after track after track, the same thing comes out. The bass kind of sounds hollow, and really the only thing you notice is the upper bass. And there's a good deal of punch to that upper bass, so it sounds bouncy and fun. But it doesn't sound real. There's no body to the sound, and Janis's vocal. I mean, if I just look at my notes here, it just, the whole thing sounds a bit mid-heavy and a bit shouty. What have I written here? The vocals sound ratty. The cymbals sound splashy. Hang on. And the piano and the bass have got no body to them, and neither has the kick drum. I mean, my notes vary from track to track, and I mean, there's one or two tracks on here which are really transformed. I mean, frankly, the last track on the album, where are we? There's no notes for that. The last track on your album, Get It While You Can. Playing on the original, is what I've written, it just sounds flat, a mid-rangey kind of mess. Switching to the mobile, Fidelity, there's a rhythmic snap, vocals are detailed and expressive with Joplin's characteristic crying wail. You can hear the whole of the words, and that's something which is characteristic throughout the whole album. I don't think Pearl is the best recorded, well, no, the recordings are not bad, but I don't think it's the original pressings. They're just not the best albums you'll have heard. The vocal kind of sounds veiled. It's almost like she's singing behind a felt curtain. And as I said previously, the bass and the piano, well, the bass of the bass guitar, the lower notes of the bass guitar, the lower notes on the piano and the bass drum, kick drum, they just lack body and slam and weight, and so whereas that would propel the music along, or should propel the music along, it kind of doesn't on this, and you're left with the guitar and the voice propelling the music along. Whereas on the Mobile Fidelity, it sounds more like a full band. I mean, it doesn't just sound more like a full band. It sounds like a very good band. It actually sounds quite like the band, you know, the Robbie Robertson and you know, Carl Hudson band, on several of the tracks, which you know, that's just my opinion, but for me that's a big compliment. Yeah, they sound really groovy, really having a good time, really playing together, really harmonising. Whereas on the original pressing, it just sounds, the quieter songs like Me and Bobby McGee, they come across okay, but the denser songs on the original pressing, they really sound like they're the threads of the music, the stems, the individual tracks are kind of competing against each other, and as it gets busier, it just becomes a bit of a mess. So really, just to sum up, it's a phenomenal album, which you know, I've heard it on, you know, CD, and I've got an original pressing, and it's you know, it's not my favourite Joplin album. I like, you know, Cheap Thrills is the one that does it for me, Big Brother and the Holding Company, but it's still a bloody good album. You know, I think it's probably my second favourite Joplin album. but it's you know, that's more for the music, and Joplin's just phenomenal intensity and soul and passion, rather than the sonic qualities of the recording. This one absolutely transforms that. It's like the whole thing. It's far more illuminated. It's more live. You hear far deeper into the mix, into the music, into the performance, and some of the tracks which just are a bit flat and a bit near on the original pressing, on here just are lifted to jubilant, joyful wonderfulness. It's as simple as that. So I can't recommend this strongly enough. It's as simple as that. It really is a stunning disc. As with all my recent mobile Fidelity Sound Lab purchases, I got this from David Brook up at Brook Audio. I'm not honestly sure if he's got any left. I'll put a link below in the description if he has. And yeah, I would thoroughly recommend you go out and buy one. It's you know, musically, what the music here is stunning, and perhaps the difference between this and the original pressings of the album, you know, makes this shine out even amongst the MOFI one-steps, because the original is a bit flat and compressed, in my opinion. A bit more so than some of the others. I mean, you know, Mingus which I reviewed, which if I can work it out, I'll put a link up here. That was another one where I just couldn't get into the music particularly. I mean, I could get to this. It's not the same. But it took that extra fidelity to sort of open the music up for me. I'm already into Pearl. I mean, I've had this original one for God knows how many years, decades. But it wasn't one of my absolute favourite albums. It's stunning. And yeah, so I'll just say, if you like Joplin, you really need to hear this, and they are limited and they will sell out quite quickly. So on that note, I'll say cheerio. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to do these a bit more regularly these days. So you know, do come back soon if you like what you hear. If you like what I do, then please give me a like, and feel free to subscribe. I'll catch you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.